Welcome to Bastard Quest. I'm your game bastard Kyle. I'm ready to go this morning. Let's do it. I just did some heroin.
Well, that's a lot of energy for heroin.
Yeah, I don't actually think the drug works.
Right
Is that no? Yeah. I was just picking a drug. I've never done drugs really, unless you count coffee and ecstasy.
Together?
It's a really good Tom Waits song.
Just don't be ridiculous, Corey. Of course, yes, together.
Oh, I'm Todd.
And I'm sick.
No, I was actually on German meth chocolate because we're playing Eat the Reich, where they play vampires killing Nazis on German meth chocolate. Should have thought out that joke a little closer.
Yeah.
So who are your characters in Eat the Reich, a game about vampire commandos killing Nazis?
Well, my name is Chuck, and I'm a cowboy vampire.
I'm playing Cosgrave. Lou. That's what they call toilets.
He's English. Austin?
There he is.
That's it.
He's Man Bat's grandfather.
Yeah.
Or what was it, Bat Boy in the Inquirer in the 90s?
Yeah.
The Bat Boy?
Yeah, I'm Flint, the monster. But in true keeping of Christmas spirit, I know Christmas was last week, but now I have a machine gun.
Oh, yeah. So, for those of us just joining us, Eat the Reich is a cool RPG about, well, you know what it's about. You've been listening this far. If this is your first episode of Bastard Quest, you might want to go back a couple episodes where we start playing this campaign. But if you choose not to, then welcome to Paris. You gentlemen have been headed for a French resistance hideout you know as Le Cochon Noir.
Is that French for the black cushion?
Yep. I'm going to say yes.
That does sound like we must come up with a threatening name.
What did we call it?
The black cushion.
The Black Cushion. No, Jean-Paul, that is too far.
We are the bloody armoire.
And for those listening, the Black Cushion will be opening at the Roxy. It's a band name.
Oh, I see.
It's
Pretty good. That's pretty. Le Cochon Noir. That does sound like a band.
bad one.
Yeah.
Really? I've heard you say that could be a band name about some crazy shit.
Yeah, because I'm a musician.
You are.
I know these things.
I'm an ideas man. Anyway, Le Cochon Noir is a rundown backstreet bar made up entirely of interconnected basements. You go down a short flight of concrete steps, in through a creaking wooden door, into smoke, dark, and badly ventilated rooms with dozens of hard-bitten partisans. Look up from there. This is France, so glasses of wine be mugs in other countries where they drink normal things in bars. I love wine. I just don't think you should drink it in an underground pub. I think that's wrong, but these are the French. One man has a baguette and he bites the tip of it angrily and chews it at you.
In place of like a cigar. Yeah.
No, of course they're all smoking, Austin. Not cigars, cigarettes. The bartender is wearing a striped shirt and a beret,
Okay.
cleaning a wine glass very delicately.
Right. A giant loaf under his arm.
Yeah.
He's on a bicycle for some reason.
Unicycle.
This is the most French bar ever.
Can I get you gentlemen something? He looks at you expectantly. You have been given a passcode by Fang Command to use if you had to go to Le Cochon Noir.
Cosgrave walks up and says, "Passcode." Is that it?
Well, you guys can tell me what the passcode they gave you is.
Okay.
Yeah, you can come up with that. I don't have to do everything on this show.
Okay.
The coffee in Portugal is very hot.
It's a great band name.
Fuck off.
So the bartender looks at you, looks at the other patrons and says, "Oui, but I prefer to pour it onto a napkin." This is, of course, the other half of the passcode.
Yes.
It's the French, isn't it?
And he reaches under the bar and presses a button. You hear, "Meh," and then a secret door slides open in the wood paneling of the bar, of the bar walls, not the bar itself. And you hear a voice, "Come on in." You go inside, and there's a very harried-looking man in a French military uniform, smoking 2 cigarettes from one of those long stem holders.
It's like the Darth Maul cigarette holder.
Yeah. He says, well, you don't need my real name. They call me Volerone, based on Patreon member Volerone, who changed his name from Constellation.
Fine with me. Gives us more to work with.
Yeah. And the man looks at you. "I assume you're the vampire commandos here to drink all of Hitler's blood?"
Oi!
Well, you got that right.
"And none of you are French, of course. Fang Britons. Please sit down." He's got a big desk full of papers, and you can tell someone like not stolen Nazi code files and empty packs of American cigarettes, probably dropped in from a resistance supply.
Well, excuse me, my good Frenchie, but I'm an American. The cowboy hat should have been a giveaway.
It was something of an indicator. I did not have a French accent a moment ago, but now I do.
He's a good spy.
Really?
It comes and goes, much like my will to fight.
He gives you a carton of cigarettes and says, "So, why are you here?"
Nothing for me, Gov. Those things will kill you.
Yes.
Chuck takes one of the cigarettes. He breaks the filter off and pushes out all of the tobacco, and then pulls out a rolling paper of his own, puts the tobacco in it, rolls it up, and smokes it.
Yeah, pleased to meet you, Gov. Well, let's get to slaughtering. Is that what we're doing? Are we supposed to kill everybody in the building in this place, too?
No, I thought you guys said you were going to resupply.
Oh, yeah.
So his eyes get wide for a second.
Just saying funny joke words in me mouth.
Well, look here, partner. We are here to find Mr. Adolf Hitler and drink every last drop of blood from his body. This is our mission. Is there any assistance that the resistance can offer us? Assistance, resistance. That's almost alliterative, but not quite. See, I made a funny.
You're a rhymey, Gus.
He informs you that they've been stockpiling Allied supply drops for just such an occasion.
Like drops that they're getting?
Yeah, the
okay.
Allies drop
I thought you
in
meant like
supplies.
Hijacking American soldiers' ammo drops and being like, hey,
No.
somebody might need this.
This is 1943. The Americans aren't on the continent yet, Austin.
Oh, that's true.
Learn some history about the vampire wars.
I don't suppose any of those Allied drops contained blood.
I missed that episode of Band of Brothers.
So he looks at you. No, normally they do not drop blood to us non-vampire resistance fighters.
Did they drop any magical items?
This is not the D&D. The Dungeoning and the Dragons. No. I can lead you to the rail yard where we have stockpiled these munitions. And then there's some commotion in the bar out front. People shouting, police, police, in French. And you hear, some raised voices telling everybody, get up against the wall, hands up, etc., etc. There's some sort of police
From
raid
Ohio?
going on. Yeah. Except all in a French accent, while speaking French.
Okay.
Voleron looks at you. If you could take care of that, it would be wonderful. Here are your objectives. Some of them are optional. So you can team up with the resistance. If you essentially help a number of resistance members escape, you'll get a guerrilla squad that will go
literal
with you.
gorillas?
Of Guerilla. Guerrilla fighters, French resistance fighters.
Is that French for gorilla?
It's actually Spanish, but that is a long... We're not going to go into why it's called guerrilla.
Well, I mean,
Anyway.
if we're vampires during World War II, it stands to reason there could be fighting gorillas as well.
You know what?
Absolutely.
Given that this is a crazy game, yeah, it is actual guerrillas.
Sweet.
Yeah.
The Nazis captured some trained Soviet guerrillas. And
Bela
they've been,
Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla.
and the French freed them. So they have some guerrillas that if you help the French resistance members escape, they will send a squad of literal guerrillas to fight with you.
Okay, I don't think we need to hear the other options.
Well, that's one of the optional objectives.
Okay.
You can do that or not. The other optional objective is resupply, which would give you back any of the materials you've expended.
Oh, okay.
Now, this would be like bullets and bombs and things like that. But your overall objective is to lose the Nazis that are raiding the bar.
Okay.
So that's your overall objective, which is probably pretty easy to accomplish, but you would have to accomplish the other two objectives before you did that one.
Okay.
And you can do all of the objectives. You
Yeah.
don't have to pick one or two.
Yeah. So, Kyle, what are our ratings for each of the objectives?
The sub-objectives are 4 each, and the main one is 6.
Okay. I know normally this is not the way to go in a role-playing game, but we could split up and each kind of focus on one.
Yeah, we could.
So, yeah, like if Flint stuck around to like help them evacuate
Right.
and...
I feel like he would be the man for the job.
I kind of disagree because he's monstrous. And you're probably going to want to gain their trust in some way, and I don't think you're the man to do it.
That's also very
I think you should be in charge of resupply.
Okay.
Because that's just gathering materials mostly.
Okay.
And you can fly.
Yeah.
All right, okay, that makes a lot of sense now. Hear me out. It probably should also not be Cosgrave because the French hate the British.
That's true.
Yeah, but they're allies now. They have no choice.
They have to like us.
Right. Well, the other person is going to be killing the Nazis in the bar, right?
Well, I would assume.
Or
Could
the
be.
French police.
I would honestly assume we're all going to be doing that too.
Yeah, presumably there will be Nazi killing in all missions.
Okay.
So Flint is going after the resupply.
Yes.
Who is helping the resistance members? Guys could split up to do the sub-objectives and then reconvene to do the main one, which would be losing the Nazis.
Yeah, I mean, y'all could both help them evacuate just to get that objective through quicker.
Yeah, and we would be killing the police to help them evacuate as well.
Sure.
Kyle, does he tell us kind of where the main supply cache is?
He's going to take you. He's going to lead you to where they hit it at the rail yard.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he pushes aside a bookcase and there's a door. He opens it. Come this way. Large Batman.
It's so hard not to say, isn't it?
Yeah. And he disappears down the darkness of this tunnel. Flint follows him. Meanwhile, Cosgrave and Chuck are faced with the French police in the other room. So the police in the other room are rousing up the partisans, putting some in cuffs, pushing others up against the wall.
Question, Kyle.
Yes,
Since this is underground, I'm assuming that this place probably has a low ceiling.
That is correct.
Well, Chuck is going to use his spider scurry to climb up the wall and across the ceiling so as to attack the French police from above.
They immediately start screaming at this cowboy spider crawling across the ceiling of the bar.
And I get a +1 for low ceilings.
All right. Well, what action are you using here?
Let's see. Well, I have to spend a blood to do the spider scurry, so
Sure,
erase
okay.
one of those. And then I'm also going to spend another blood and hawk up a gutful of acid spit.
Cool. So all the French police in the room are pulling out their guns and firing at this freak on the ceiling. They've got 3 attack.
I think we used shoot last time for the acid spit.
Yeah, makes
Because
sense.
it's aiming.
Yeah.
So Chuck will be rolling 5 die altogether.
All right. I only got 1 on the attack.
Well, I rolled 3 2s, but I did get a 1 5 and a crit, so that is 3 successes.
Okay. How you want to spend those?
All right, well, I'll use my 3 successes. I'll use 1 to wipe out that attack, and I'll use the other 2 to reduce the threat.
Okay. You could reduce one of the squads by 2 or each of them by 1.
Get rid of 1 on each squad. So Chuck scurries up the wall and hangs spider-like from the top of the ceiling and looks down at the French police and says, "Well, howdy, partners. I don't know if you know this about me, but I got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle." No, wait, I'm sorry. I got acid spit that melts spurs and then just unleashes a torrent of acid spit.
Okay.
The French police are screaming and their faces are melting. Cosgrave then goes next, because I get to decide who goes next. He can hear this acid hiss and scream, and someone wets their trousers.
Cosgrave just kind of struts into the room, goes, "Oh, that's a right, Pippa," and takes his enormous knife and knifes.
So brawl, I assume?
Yep, do brawl, and then my enormous knife, so that'd be a total of 4 die.
So the police are all busy shooting at Chuck. You actually have no threat against you this round.
So if they don't see me, I've got a bonus, never saw you coming with the enormous knife, so it'll be 5 die.
Yeah, I guess it would.
Okay. Of course, I did call them a pipper or something. But, I guess the screens from the melting faces kind of drown that out.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Okay, so that'll be 5 die. So got a crit, a 5, and a 4, so 4 successes.
Good job. Tell me how you want to spend them. Now, there's 2 police patrols. They each have 3 threat remaining.
Okay.
And then there's the overall sub-objective of 4.
Okay, I'm going to reduce the overall objective by 1. And I have no attacks to deal with, right?
Correct.
I'm going to take out one of the squads with the other 3.
So describe how Cosgrave large knives a police squad.
So it's an enormous knife is how it's described.
We got that.
So he comes up behind the cops that are watching their coworkers melt. And the first guy, he shoves it right through the back of his neck, coming out through his throat. and then slowly starts coming up behind the other guys and doing the same. So there's like 4 dudes skewered on the enormous knife of Cosgrave.
Okay, is this just a sword? Are you just walking around with a sword?
It's an enormous knife.
Outside in an alleyway behind some buildings, a manhole cover is tossed away, and out comes Voleron and Flint. Voleron says, "This way." Starts leading you through the back alleys. You come out at a rail yard. There's a chain fence obstructing the yard, and he points at a rather ordinary-looking storage building in kind of the middle of the yard, surrounded by rails. Nothing, of course, moving because Paris is shut down by the Nazis. "There and there, mon ami. I wish you good luck at drinking all of Hitler's blood."
Yeah, well, you're going to have to come with me.
No. I feel like this is safe enough place for me to go.
You're coming.
Here's the key.
And he grabs him up with his claws and kind of flaps over the fence.
I picture it being like that scene in Superman, like his inner monologue is, "Can you read my mind?"
It's exactly like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, much against his will, the two of you pick your way across the rail yard to the storage building. He's opening the door. You get inside. It's full of crates marked U.S., salvaged parachutes, and all sorts of war gear. It's very dark, but then headlights come on and illuminate the front, and he's standing in the doorway of Voleron as he blocks his, "Oh, chut à l'heure." You hear the rumble of an engine, feet hitting the ground. You look out, and there's a German armored car that had been lying in an ambush position, and infantrymen are moving towards you. Voleron says, "Oh, no." And that's when the armored car's autocannon opens up and rips him into 14 pieces.
Hey.
Blasting parts of the front facade away, brickwork shrapnel is flying everywhere. The German infantry squad, they just start shooting with their rifles. And then you notice that most of the things in this storage room are highly explosive.
Well, this is unfortunate. So I'm going to use improvised projectile.
Okay.
I'm going to pick up one of these. We're going to say it's a crate of TNT. And I'm going to, as I run to tackle into this group of Nazis, hurl the box of TNT at the cannon.
Okay.
So that's going to be a basic brawl of 4. We're going to say, since we're working on resupplying, I'm going to use one more notch on my steel gouging claws to get a good grip and do some ripping and tearing. So that's going to be 1 bonus. This is not an ambush, so I can't use that bonus, but improvised projectile will give me another die. I don't think the crate of TNT is aerodynamic, so just that 1.
They generally don't make them aerodynamic.
No. So that's going to be a total of 6 die.
All right. They have a threat of 4 altogether, the squad and the armored car.
Okay. How'd you do?
I did really great. I feel good about it. I have 4 attack.
So I'm going to use my bone armor, which automatically reduces an attack for every 1 that I rolled, and I did roll a 1. And then I also rolled 4 successes.
Oh.
So I'm going to, I'll risk it with 1 of them. I'm going to spend 2 successes to get rid of 2 of yours.
That's good.
And then I'll be getting 1 blood and putting my last success toward the objective of resupplying.
Okay, so roll your injury die.
Okay. It's a 4. So I was already spooked. But now I am broken.
Oh.
Which it seems to have escalated quickly. I don't...
He's just listening to Morrissey curled up in a corner.
The effect is +2 to search for some reason, but -2 to brawl, which is kind of my bread and butter. So.
One of the Nazis says, "No one is going to ever love you like your mother did."
Well, she wasn't the biggest fan.
So it is a new round, and we're going to start with you, Austin. We're going to keep this fight going in the rail yard.
Okay. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 blood to get rid of that. So right after the Nazi officer says that, he kind of cowers a bit because this bat creature fucking turns to him, blood streaming from his eyes, and says, "You take that back."
Okay. I met Gunther Muther. He's my friend. You've never met him. He was a big fan.
Yeah, we're just going to start tearing into these soldiers again. Did that have any effect on the cannon, the explosive crate?
It exploded.
Okay.
And it's
So as the crate of TNT explodes this cannon, the bat just tears into more of these Nazis. So I'm going to use a brawl of 4.
well. I'm going to still attack you with 4 because you're all by your lonesome out here.
Yep. And I'm going to use my Hellish Screech, since Flint got pissed off this time. Spend 2 blood to reduce a threat's difficulty by 1. And yeah, I'm just going to see how that goes. Rolling 5 this time. Oh, I didn't roll great.
I did not roll as well either. Only 2.
Oh, you did?
attacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to use my bone armor to get rid of those because I rolled 2 1s. So I can keep that roll, actually. I was about to say I might need to use a flashback, but I'm going to keep that.
Yeah, the 2 1s in that case are pretty useful. Well, since you just reduced their rating, you could actually wipe out the infantry squad right now.
With my 2 remaining successes?
Yep.
Yeah, let's do that. So Nazis are running, screaming back and forth. Everything's on fire, and this bat is just kind of flitting, only half seen amongst this group of terrified soldiers as he just kind of slices and dices. And after a while, he's just kind of standing in the middle covered in blood, and all of these soldiers that are still standing there just kind of collapse into multiple pieces. Then he kind of rolls up his sleeves because he has those and goes to search through the crates.
Bone sleeves.
And back in the bar, one of the police units is dismembered.
Skewered, really.
Skewered, yeah. Corey, Cosgrave can go.
Okay, so the other squad is now aware of me.
Turns out, 4 men impaled on a knife, walking around the room.
Okay, Cosgrave's going to use Dance Macabre. I can spend 1 blood to gain full control of a corpse, after which it falls apart after like a minute.
Well, they have to maintain some level of realism.
Right. So I'm going to say the corpse he gains control of is the one at the end
Okay.
of this manscure.
Sure.
And what he's going to have him do, using his brawl, he's going to try to swing the manskewer at the other squad, but they're pretty heavy even with his vampire strength.
Sure.
So the guy in front is going to help by like running. Like they're going to spin around in a circle like to gain momentum.
Okay.
And then smack them with dead cops.
This is the most ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Roll your dice.
Okay.
Needless to say, the other police officers are all shooting at you. I've got 2 attack.
So I've got a total of 4 die here.
All right.
Okay, I got 3 1s and a 6.
Okay. I got 2 attacks on you.
I'm going to use an advance I haven't been able to use thus far
Okay.
or simply forgot about. It's called Dead Man's Luck. Before you discard dice after you roll your pool, reduce the GM's successful attack die by 1 for each one you rolled.
Nice.
So
okay.
I got 3, so I'm reducing all your attacks.
Well, I got nothing.
Yep, pathetic.
Damn, so we've all got one of those abilities
Yeah.
for 1s on our roll.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
So that leaves me with 2 successes. I'm going to use one of those successes to get my blood back
Okay.
that I use for Dance Macabre. And the other one, I'm going to reduce the overall objective.
All right.
So that knocks it. We're at 2 now, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Todd, Chuck is alone. In his heart, but he's dropped from the ceiling, and all the police were focused on Cosgrave. He's not being attacked this round.
Chuck is going to, since Cosgrave has the French police kind of occupied at the moment, correct?
Yes. They're watching the man skewer.
Yes. So Chuck is going to turn to the resistance guys who are still in the room and try to sneak them out while this is happening.
It's a bunch of Frenchmen
Yes.
lined up against the wall, smoking cigarettes and looking bored.
Gorilla tamers.
Yeah.
And so Chuck says to him, "Wow, kind of surprised there was so much screaming from those French policemen. I figured you French boys were into the Grand Guignol." So I guess this would be sneak.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sneaking them out of here.
My sneak is a 2. I'm going to use my spider scurry again.
Okay. You're going to lead them out with the spider scurry?
Yes, I'm going to be like, "Okay, fellas, you just follow me right on out of here. Now, I realize you're going to have to stay on the ground, but I'll be right up there keeping an eye out for you." And he just
Like the
scurries
Lord.
up the road. Yeah.
Somehow the mime follows you perfectly.
So that's going to be a dice pool after I spend a blood of 4.
Cool.
Well, all right. I did roll a 1, so that gives me my blood back because corpse eater.
Sure. There's some on the floor.
And then I rolled for you.
Take a bite off me skewer, mate.
Well, that's the first time I ever had shish kebab. And the French guy's like, "Hey, oui, my name is Bob." And then I rolled a 5 and a 6. So 1 crit, that is 3 successes.
So there's 2 left on the overall sub-objective to get the literal guerrilla fighters.
I am going to wipe that out
All right.
and use the other success for a blood.
So Cosgrave and Chuck are able to evacuate the resistance fighters. And they're so happy with this that they tell you they will send their guerrillas to assist you when you attack Hitler.
They get dropped in barrels.
The lead guerrilla is named Lasquatch.
Let's see.
Now remember, these are Soviet guerrillas.
Yeah.
So they're going to have Russian accents.
Of course.
Well.
Because, of course, they talk.
Yeah. Cossacks.
We are Soviet guerrilla! I come to you bearing guerrilla arms. Meanwhile, an armored car is shooting the hell out of Flint. And we're going to do Nazi reinforcements. So more infantrymen are running into the rail yard, shooting at Flint. The armored car engine is roaring. It's backing up, firing its autocannon. Your turn, Austin.
All right, so we're going to say in the time it took the Nazi reinforcements to pull up as this other armored car begins firing on me, Flint was able to duck into this metal kind of shipping container and start gathering up the necessary supplies for the whole team. And he's got it packed up into a single crate. So I'm actually going to make my base die pool search this time just to mix things up. But I am going to use my Sense Heartbeat ability. You can see the heartbeats of living beings through the walls and other obstacles. Extra bonus if it is through dense cover. So we're going to say Flint is able to kind of navigate this shipping yard, gathering up supplies as he avoids the gunfire and knives of these Nazi soldiers pursuing him.
All right, how many dice you got?
That's going to give me a total of 4 dice.
Okay, I got 3.
Okay.
I got nothing. No attacks.
I got a 4 and a 6, so a total of 3 successes.
Okay, well, resupply is at 3.
All right, I'm going to put 2 successes toward the resupply objective and 1 toward gaining some more blood.
All right. Cosgrave and Chuck have just made their way to the rail yard. There's this brick storage building. You can see Flint inside, flitting from crate to crate, stockpiling your supplies. And there's an armored car out front just firing into the building, and German infantrymen also shooting into it. Lots of dead Nazis on the ground outside, and a dead Valeran. And in the distance, you can see a train coming down the track towards the yard, which is unusual because the Germans have shut down all the rail traffic. It'll be Chuck's turn.
I'm assuming there's still some Nazis alive in the armored car, or is...
Yeah, the armored car is firing into the storage unit, and so are the infantrymen. There's not many infantrymen, and most of them are far away. The first squad was wiped out, so reinforcements are having to run in. So the resupply sub-objective is at 1, and the overall objective of losing the Nazis raiding the bar is still at 6.
I was hoping to save these for the final episode, but since we are in the middle of a resupply, Chuck is going to draw his paired revolvers, Betsy and Maria.
Okay.
And he's going to take aim at the Nazi reinforcements that are running in.
Shoot them down. All of these guys were shooting at Flint previously, so there's not going to be any threat against Chuck this turn.
Ooh, nice.
Chuck draws Betsy and Maria, and he says, "All right, girls, hope you got an appetite for kraut." And that's 3 dice. All right, I got a 1, which gives me a blood. And then a 6 and a 5, so 3 successes.
Nice.
I will use 1 toward the resupply, and I will spend the other 2 toward the main objective.
Cool.
To bring it down to 4.
The night comes alive with the sound of double revolvers. 6 shooters gunning down Nazis, giving Flint the time he needs to finish packing the supplies, put a little bow on it. Corey, it is Cosgrave's turn. Armored car is there. Now that other vampires have joined the fight, its wheels are rolling backward. It's trying to get out of there.
So you said there's like a cannon or something on the armor car?
Yeah,
Like
of
a
course.
big gun of some
Yeah.
kind?
Yeah, it has a 20 millimeter gun on it.
Cosgrave's going to use memory rot. I can spend 1 blood to remove or implant memories from someone you lock eyes with.
Okay.
So I'm going to gaze into the eyes of the man operating the cannon,
Sure.
the big car gun,
Okay.
and implant memories in his brain. My goal being for him to open fire on his Nazi comrades.
Nice.
Okay.
And the memories I'm implanting, I'm basically making him believe that he grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, and to a very... So his name is now Jesse. He's the son of Polish immigrants,
Okay.
and he's watched from afar as his homeland has been just torn apart by the Nazi horde. And so he volunteered.
He infiltrated the German army,
Right, of course.
and he's been waiting for his moment.
Yeah, so he volunteered for the OSS and has been spending the past 4 years infiltrating the Nazi army to varying degrees because he's just the guy that operates a gun.
Sure.
He was going to try to get into Hitler's inner circle, but that just didn't work out for him.
Sure. He doesn't actually have any skills.
Right.
He's just
Do you
mad.
do you need a character sheet or anything?
My name is Jesse. All right. Roll your dice.
Okay, so I think the main stat here is going to be con.
I think so as well.
Okay, so that's 3. And memory rot will be another one. The bonus die on that is you were never here. I'm going to say that is activated because
Sure.
basically making him think that he grew up and had this whole other life.
Yeah, you got to sell the lie, right?
Right.
It won't.
He
won't
thinks
work.
back to his sister Tracy's face and that,
Sure.
that doll she had and
Oh, I love the little doll.
his tiny dog, Huck.
Huck Huck, we call him. Huck Huck, you want a bone?
In that first kiss he had on the Ferris wheel with Mindy.
Mindy Struben.
And then that day he kicked the winning field goal in high school.
That was the
And then his
best
first day of college, his mother was so proud.
I went to Harvard,
Then she died.
got hit by a car. Such Adolf Hitler was driving.
So that's a total of 5 die. So that's 2 crits and a 4.
Nice.
Total of 5 successes.
Excellent.
Okay,
And they don't have an attack on me. I snuck up on them, right?
correct.
Okay. So I guess there's only 4 points left on the objective. I can knock that out.
If you guys don't care, I'd like to take at least one more round just to fuck with the Nazis some more and try to get myself some more blood, if at all possible.
I don't know. Let's vote on it.
I vote stay.
That's
that
fine.
train's getting closer.
Oh, yeah. That is true. Is that when, do we have an idea when that train's going to arrive?
Imminently.
Death train.
Death
Cool.
train.
Okay, I'll knock the overall objective down to 1 and give myself 2 blood.
All right. New round. It's Bedlam. You guys wipe out the other infantry squad that was showing up, and the other armored car hightails it out of there. Then you turn as this train engine pulling a single car comes to a screeching stop, and the train car itself is unlike one you've ever seen. It's made out of welded steel.
It's got a giant white face on it, smiling.
There's one door, and that opens slowly on automatic hinges. Steam comes rolling out, and then a figure, bulky, jumps out, lands into the rail yard in the classic superhero 3-point crouch, stands up. It's wearing a very tight-fitting German officer's uniform. Its face is solid metal, festooned with weapons. It has iron hands. It says, "I am Stahlsoldat." And the voice is very robotic.
Oh,
It's one of Hitler's new cyborg super soldiers.
oh cool.
It's like a Wolfenstein boss.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Stahlsoldat is a special enemy, one of the elites.
Really?
Yeah, turns out. You only have 1 point left on the objective. You can complete the objective and flee to the next one. He will follow you until he is defeated.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
And if you get all the way to Hitler, start drinking his blood, Stahlsoldat's going to be rolling up behind you.
Okay. That's an interesting mechanic. That's
Well, that's one I just made up.
Okay, cool.
okay.
Well, let's kill Stahlsoldat then.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Stahlsoldat.
Okay.
So it's a new round. I'll let whichever one of you wants. You guys can decide amongst yourselves who wants to go first.
I do have acid spit, and I get a +2 if I'm going against metal.
Get him.
So here's a question, Kyle. If we did a little bit of damage to Stahlsoldat this time, would he retain that if we ran into him again?
Yeah.
Like, is it possible to like maybe whittle his health down or otherwise incapacitate him temporarily in order for us to like complete the objective for a couple chapters?
I whittled myself a pipe one time.
Yeah, he will retain any damage that he takes.
Okay.
And what is that? What is it? What are his numbers?
His threat is 6. His attack is 6.
Ooh.
And his challenge is 2.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, Chuck steps forward and looks at the giant Nazi robot super soldier and says, "Oh, Mr. Hitler must have fallen on hard times if he's turning tin cans into soldiers." And
I don't get it.
And he hawks up a gut full of fierce acid, which is a +2 against metal. And
Well, he's actually porcelain and wood.
God damn it.
Straight, very different kind of cyborg. Budget cuts.
Yeah.
Those Nazis and their experiments.
it's going to be a dice pool for Chuck of 5.
All right.
All right, that's 2 4s and a 5, so 3 successes.
I got 4 on the attack.
Ah! Okay, so I will use my 3 successes to take out 3 of his attacks.
Okay. So Chuck is about to hawk up something, and it's in his mouth. We see his lips pursed, and then a metal fist just smashes into his lips. And some of the acid splatters on, of course, the metal hand. It doesn't seem to bother Stahlsoldat, and he picks up Chuck and just hurls him into the side of the train engine, leaves a big dent in the metal. He starts advancing to finish Chuck off. So roll your d6 for your injury.
You know what? I don't believe I feel like being injured today. I'm going to use cowboy hat.
Right.
Okay.
It says cowboy hat, mark to ignore an injury. However, I lose the hat and it's destroyed.
Oh, no. You should save that for... So theoretically, I mean, you could get hit with a big hit and you don't have any way to negate it.
Sure.
Well, our resupply was from an American airdrop. Surely there's a crate for hats, right?
Yeah, I was going to let you guys resupply all of your equipment that you'd use, so there would be a crate. There would be an extra cowboy hat, a specialty crate.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, cool. So how it works is when he's thrown into the side of the train by Stahlsoldat, Chuck reaches up and grabs hold of both sides of his cowboy hat, and the hat is the first thing that hits, and Chuck just kind of like bounces backwards, and he's fine.
But you lose the hat for this fight. The resupply won't go until next round. It comes off your head, and Stahlsoldat takes it, my cowboy hat, and he puts it on.
And Chuck says, well, thanks for saving my life, but I'm sure going to miss you, Clementine.
And we'll say Flint can go next. Now, Stahlsoldat was focused on Chuck, so he won't be attacking you.
Ooh, okay. Kyle, can I use ooze form to try and like glop into his suit and rip him apart from within?
If you ever say glop into his suit again. Yeah.
That's what's on the sheet,
Yeah.
you guys.
I
Glop
guess you
his ass.
could. Glop him, sea bass.
All right, so as Stahlsoldat is straightening the cowboy hat on his head, he starts to feel like squishy inside the suit. And all of a sudden, this like just thick, gelatinous, almost chitinous
Oh.
presence solidifies in one section of the suit. And we'll say it like knocks out like a back plate or something like that. Because obviously I just can't fit into this fucking thing with him. But yeah, I'm going to use ooze form to get in close and kind of get past his defenses and start using my steel gouging claws to shred the fuck out of this guy.
Glop
Okay.
him.
I spent 1 blood to use ooze form. We're going to say I can't use the bonus that says it's in the walls.
Correct,
I don't
yeah.
think this counts. But that'll be a brawl of 4. That'll give me an extra die, ooze form. I'm using my steel gouging claws. This is my last notch on that. So that means I get 2 bonus die.
Correct.
And I think this also counts as an ambush, so I get 1 more bonus die from that.
Okay. Yeah, he did not expect the attack to come from within.
I love the fact that he's ambushing as ooze.
Right.
Where did this glop come from?
All right, so then I'm rolling 8 die.
Damn.
So I got 1 crit and 3 other successes, so a total of 5.
Okay.
Number 1, I did roll a crit during combat, so my Ravenous ability automatically gives me 3 blood.
Tastes like bleach, pine tar, and petrol.
And then I'm going to actually use one of those other successes to get 1 additional blood. And I'll use my other 4 successes to start damaging him. So he soaks 2 of those and then takes 2 damage.
So the ooze forms on the inside and spreads on the outside. Flint reforms some of his arms, is tearing into Stahlsoldat, who's staggering around, and then he rips open part of his coat, and there's switches and dials all on his chest. He turns some of them and starts flooding the interior of his body with holy water, which is mainly just gasoline that bursts into ignites and spews Flint out. And it's Cosgrave's turn.
So is he going to have an attack on me in this, or is it
No.
the same? Okay.
I mean, he's like any other enemy force. He only gets 1 attack. He just has a really high one.
Gotcha. So Cosgrave's going to try to knock a little chunk of robot life out of him. He's going to sneak up behind him and with his sawing-off shotgun shoot him in the back of the neck.
Okay.
So I'm going to say my stat would be sneak, which is 3. My sawn-off shotgun. So when you use your last one, you get 2 die?
Correct.
Okay, this will be my last one, and we're getting ready to resupply. And it's point blank, so that's another 2.
Nice.
So that's a total of 7 die.
Okay.
Ooh, pretty terrible. I only got 2 successes here. Can I do a flashback?
Yeah.
Oh, I got gunted up the old club of there, didn't he?
Roll a d6 for the context.
4.
And roll for the question.
3.
And which one of your teammates is going to be with you?
Chuck.
So you and Chuck were in the Mediterranean, sabotaging a field gun with improvised explosives. And you got all the detonators in the wrong place. The bomb was about to go off and kill you all, but Chuck saved your life. How?
As the bombs exploded, Chuck put his hat between us and the explosion. That was Geraldine, the hat. Yeah.
That was several hats ago.
Chuck,
All right.
Chuck looks at Cosgrave and goes, "Always good to have a hat, isn't it?"
Reroll your whole pool. +2.
Okay, I'll accept that.
If you wish. I don't want to make
thank
you.
So that's a total of 7, much better, with 1 crit.
Nice.
Okay, and how many, what is it, threat? That's his hit points?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
He's at 4. Threat 4.
Okay.
So you'd have to do a total damage of 6 to get through his challenge rating.
Correct.
And there's just 1 left on the overall objective,
Okay.
which equals 7. I
Okay.
think.
I'm bad at math, but I'll trust Todd.
Yeah, I don't have a calculator in my loot. Okay, I'm going to take him out and knock out the objective.
Okay. Finish the scene.
So you said he's a cyborg, so he has some human parts. I assume that's
Yes.
the brain is the...
Yeah, it was originally a German soldier that they engineered.
Gotcha. While sneaking up behind him, Cosgrave studies him intently and, much like Smaug, notices a small weak spot at the base of his head.
Okay.
And that's where he places the shotgun and kills Stibble Bubbles, or whatever his name is.
Well, much like the Death Star, the shot travels down the exhaust vent and into the brain and blows up the main reactor, otherwise known as the brain. Stallside goes, and falls over with a metallic crunch.
All these shotgun pellets, just magic bullet inside this tin can armor.
Bouncing around inside his metal skull.
More like Stossel not, isn't it?
And so you guys escape out of the rail yard onto your next objective, which we will pick at the beginning of next session.
Okay. So the resupply, does that mean I get my enormous knife and shotgun and all that stuff back?
Yes.
And all of us get our... Todd's got a new hat, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah.
Any extra loot from that?
Nope.
Okay.
Not at all.
I'm calling
You got gorillas. What more do you want, Austin?
I'm fine with the gorillas.
Jesus, you have gorillas coming to help you.
I'm calling this hat Loretta.
Oh.
So we're having a great time with Eat the Reich.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, this is so much fucking fun.
The game is I don't believe it is out yet, but it will be coming out soon-ish. It was kickstarted and they're finishing it up right now.
Yeah, I think we got to update that. They're in the process of printing right now. So
cool.
should be pretty soon.
Yeah.
They may have had to make some changes or something after listening to our show.
Yeah, turn those into real gorillas. So we appreciate our listeners. Thank you so much. We appreciate our Patreon members. If you want to be featured in an episode, be a Patreon member.
Yeah, we had Squatch and
Yeah.
Valeron and...
Yeah, it's because of all of you that we get to, contribute to new games like this, get to play them early, and get to introduce everybody to new stuff.
Also, thank you to our sponsor, Barrel and Bond, 100 Broadway Street in beautiful downtown Paducah, right there on the banks of the Ohio River. Come for the bourbon, stay for the gigantic robot bathroom attendants.
Oh, Stossel Pete?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to get some dice in this 2024, go to NorseFoundry.com.
Yes, Norse Foundry, where the finest gorilla dice are made.
That's correct.
I thought they're made by actual gorillas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very few people know that gorillas can be trained to make dice.
Yeah, they're the children of the animal world.
Everyone knows this.
Yeah. So if you're into buying metal dice, gorilla dice, dice made out of meat, or just dice made out of soap, probably go to Norse Foundry. I don't know.
Okay.
But whatever you buy, make sure and use our promo code CHAM, that's CHAM, at checkout for 10% off.
Yeah.
I always roll with my cocoa dice.
I just am thinking about a giant silverback in coveralls in some sort of union shop running a lathe to make dice and muttering about nerds.
Yeah, we all have different visions of the future.
Well, thank you for listening. I'm Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
I'm Austin.